Welcome everyone. Come to a comfortable seated position, cross-legged or kneeling. Just really any foundation that lets you settle, find a bit of stillness. Stacking the spine up nice and tall. Close your eyes. And just for those first few moments of the practice, nothing you have to worry about achieving or optimizing. It's enough just to be here. Breathing in through your nose, out through your nose. Following the expansion of your torso with the inhales and the contraction of the torso with the exhales. Place the left hand over your heart, right hand over the belly. And as you follow your breath, continue to feel that expansion and contraction. Waving back and forth between filling up and emptying out. And at the top of the next inhale, pause, hold the breath in. And then opening your mouth, sigh that breath out. Take your palms into prayer at heart center, thumbs rest into the sternum. Let's start our time together to the sound of a single Om. Inhale. Blink the eyes open. Come forward into a tabletop position. Palms under the shoulders, knees under the hips. In that shape, you can start to exhale and tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, round the spine. Inhale, lift the chin, lift the tailbone, arch. Exhaling to tuck and rounds. Inhaling to lift and arch. We'll do one more, cats and cow. Before coming back to neutral, turn your hands so that the thumbs face forward, the fingertips face the edge of the mat, and start to draw big circles with your torso. You might start a bit smaller and then grow larger and larger as you go. Noticing how much space you have in the wrists today. If there's a lot of space, great. If you're feeling a little stiff, a little restricted, that's okay. Change direction, go the other way. As if one of your wrists is telling you a story, there's a bit of tension, pain. And if there is, consider modifying some of the shapes we do today. When you come back to neutral, bring the back of the hands to the floor. And if you have sensitive wrists, you might take the knees a bit closer towards the hands so you can comfortably push the back of the hands into the mat and then turn the elbow creases forward, straightening the elbows. And that feels pretty good. You can put more weight, you can take the knees back. I'm going to recommend not putting too much weight. Some days you might be able to pick the knees up and do a plank position, but you don't have to. Even just shifting to the left and the right a little bit can feel like a nice massage to the wrists here. Getting them ready to bear your weight and to flow. Last breath or two. Before coming back to center, you can tuck the toes, sit to the heels, interlace the fingers, and roll out the wrists. Turning the palms face up, take the fingertips down towards the knees, rolling the palms down to the floor. Again, you might have to have the hips shift forward a bit, the elbows forward of the wrists. But if you're feeling like you have the space in the wrist flexors today, untucking the toes, sitting towards your heels, and stretching the wrist flexors. Breathe in through the nose, out through the nose. Shouldn't feel this in your elbow. Shouldn't feel like too much pressure in the wrist either. Mostly looking to find the belly of the forearm right here. Last breath or two. Before carefully releasing. Come forward, plant the palms, tuck the toes, lift up into your first downward facing dog. In that first downward facing dog, gripping the mat with your fingertips, lift the sit bones up and away from your wrists. That might mean the knees stay pretty bent for the first couple rounds. Totally fine. Push the floor away. Press through the heels eventually. One more inhale and down dog. Open your mouth, sigh out the breath. Inhale, shift forward, plank. Exhale, go back to downward facing dog. Inhaling to plank. Exhale, back to down dog. And one more time. Inhale to plank. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in through the nose, and as you exhale, start to walk your feet to the top of the mat. When you arrive at the top of the mat, inhale, roll up to stand. Head comes up last, finding Tadasana, mountain pose. Exhaling to tuck the chin, roll all the way back down. Bit by bit, vertebra by vertebra, until the fingertips find the floor. And when they do, step the left foot to the back of the mat, lower the left knee down, pad the knee if you need. Inhale, hands to the hips, and exhale to press the hips forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up, Vinyasa. Exhale, release the hands back down to the floor. Pick up the back knee, step the right foot back, and lower carefully to your belly. Pressing into the tops of the feet, inhale, peel up chest and chin, baby cobra. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale to peel up chest and chin. Exhale to lower back down. One more time. Inhale, peel up chest and chin. Exhale, lower back down. Tuck the toes, press into the palms. Use support if you need. High plank. Inhale, downward facing dog on the exhale. Paddling up the heels, taking the hips side to side. Now, normally in my class, I'd be walking around. I stand up from practicing from time to time while I'm teaching, and that desire is really strong right now, but I'm going to try to demo the whole practice for you. Inhale, shift forward, high plank. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward, high plank. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. And one more time, inhale, shift forward, high plank. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in through the nose. As you exhale, begin to walk the feet. Again, back up to the top of the mat. Knees bend, spine round as much as it needs to. When you arrive at the top, inhale, roll up to stand. Head comes up last, finding Tadasana, mountain pose. Nice, take a deep breath in, mountain. On the exhale, tucking the chin, rolling all the way back down, one vertebra at a time, articulating through the spine. When the fingertips find the floor, step the right foot to the back of the mat, lower the knee down. Inhale, hands to the hips, and exhale to press the hips forward. Sweep the arms up, inhale, Vinyasa. Exhale, release the hands down to the mat. Pick up the back knee, step the left foot back, and lower to your belly. Pressing into the tops of the feet, inhale, peel up chest and chin, baby cobra, and this time pause. Grip the mat with your hands, and pull the chest forward. The shoulder blades drop back, feeling the muscles in the back do the lion's share of the work. Press into the tops of the feet. One more inhale across the heart. Exhale to release carefully to the mat. Tucking the toes, press into your palms. Use support if you need to. High plank. Inhale. Downward facing dog on the exhale. In this downward facing dog, you can pedal up the heels. Take the hips side to side. Make it a little more animalistic. Starting to get some blood moving. Notice where there's comfort, where there's discomfort in the body. Take a deep breath. This time as you exhale, walk your hands toward your feet. So you end up at the back of the mat in a standing forward fold. If you're quite tight and you feel more like a candy cane in this shape, the legs are locked, the kneecaps are soft, consider bending the knees a bit so the kneecaps get a bit more firmed up and the belly releases a bit closer to the thighs. You can catch opposite elbows, give the head a little shake, slowly going from side to side. One more breath in the standing forward fold, checking in with tension we're carrying in posterior chain. Use the exhale to release the arms. Inhale, bend the knees, reach the arms forward, wide leg chair. So as the fingertips reach forward and the bum reaches back, we feel like we can get deeper into the legs, maybe even pulsing the legs here. Feeling some heat build into the thighs. Nice. Couple more breaths. In through the nose, out through the nose. Calm and controlled. Nice. On the exhale, hinge and fold over the legs. Inhale, walk the hands to the top of the mat. Downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up, three-leg dog. Exhale, knee to the nose. Step the foot in between the hands. Rise up, inhale, high runner's lunge. Exhale, sweep the arms back, arrow pose. Inhale, reach the arms back up. Exhale, reach the arms back, arrow pose. Inhale, reach the arms back up. And last time, exhale, reach the arms back, arrow pose. More and more weight into the right foot. Step the left foot to meet the right. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Inner thighs squeeze, arms reach up. Reach up, look up, inhale. On the exhale, try to sit down without using your hands. Extend the legs forward, low boat. Now when you're low boat, that little scoop to the tailbone here. Continuing to breathe. If you're not me and you don't have to talk, breathe as much as possible. Maybe a little flutter kick here. Feeling the hip flexors start to speak to the abdominal wall. The quadriceps working here to keep the legs nice and straight. Pointing the legs, pointing the toes. Take one more big breath and use the exhale to carefully release. Right knee comes in towards the chest, interlace the fingers over the shin, flex the feet. Pull the right thigh close to the torso. Breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. With the feet flexed, float the left foot up off the floor, just an inch or two. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, peel the head and the shoulder blades up off the floor. Get your nose towards the knee. If you can't get the nose to touch the knee, that's okay. Just keep it as close as you can. Releasing the hands, reach them forward. Engage the right hip flexor and abdominal wall here, staying nice and strong. Right foot comes forward, taps the left, knee back to the nose. Right foot comes forward, taps the left, knee back to the nose. And last time, right foot comes forward, taps the foot, back to the nose. Release to the mat, left hand guides the right knee across the body. Right arm reaches out towards your neighbor with the palm face up, spinal twist. If the right shoulder has a tendency to pop up quite a bit, and you've made it the goal to put the knee down on the floor but the shoulder is lifted, consider letting the knee come up so that the right shoulder blade can actually come back down to the floor. Rooting that arm into the mat, we get a little bit of leverage there. Lengthening shoulder, side body, outer hip. Take one more big breath. Use the exhale to come through center. Hugging both knees into your chest, give yourself a squeeze. You can rock to the left and to the right, massaging the muscles running up and down your spine. Use a bit of momentum here, so to rock the length of your spine. Feet can be together or hip width and parallel. Use your hands or don't use your hands. Rock forward, plant the feet. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Reach up, look up, inhale. Exhale, hinge and fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, place the palm, step or jump the feet back. High plank, hold your high plank. Turn onto the outer edge of the right foot, inner edge of the left. Left arm reaches up, Vashisthasana, side plank, inhale. Exhale, release that left hand back down to the floor. Turn onto the outer edge of the left foot, inner edge of the right. Right arm reaches up, inhale, Vashisthasana, side plank. Exhale, release right hand down to the floor. Lean forward, knees down to the floor if you need, Chaturanga. Inhale the upward facing dog, heart pulls forward, thighs stay off the floor, shoulder blades draw back. Back over the toes, downward facing dog. And in that downward facing dog, again, if it feels good to pedal at the heels, get those remaining cobwebs out, keep the movement going. Take one more breath in down dog, and then carefully walk your hands towards your feet. You can catch opposite elbows, dangle. The knees might have to be heavily bent, perfectly acceptable. If you need a bit more, use your peace fingers, grab the big toes, elbows bend out to the sides of the room, draw the crown of the head down, down, down towards the floor. More important that you're feeling it in the belly of the hamstring than to have perfectly straight legs. So that slight bend may help you feel the stretch right there in the meat of the muscle and not behind the knee or the base of the butt. Take one more breath, your variation, standing forward fold. On the exhale, release. Inhale, bend the knees deeply, reach the arms forward, wide leg chair. Sink into that wide leg chair, a little lower, a little lower. And then instead of pulsing up and down, we'll go to the left and to the right, like the world's worst dance move. Doesn't matter if there's no one in the room, I'm still gonna have bad jokes all day. Thankfully, Queenie is doing work in a different room, so I can't see her eye rolling. One more big breath. And exhale, hinge and fold over the legs. Inhale, walk the hands to the top of the mat. Downward facing dog, sit bones lifting up. Inhale, lift the left leg up, three-leg dog. Exhale, knee to the nose. Carefully step the foot in between the hands. Rise up, inhale, high runner's lunge. Exhale, sweep the arms back, lean forward, arrow pose. Inhale, come back up, high runner's lunge. Exhale, sweep back. Inhale, lift up. Last time, exhale, sweep back. Pause, take more and more weight into the left foot. Right foot steps to meet the left, chair pose. Utkatasana, squeeze the inner thighs, adduct. Take one more inhale. On the exhale, attempting to sit down without using your hands. Of course, if you have to use your hands and sit down carefully. Extending the legs forward, we'll find low boats. There's a tuck to the tailbone here. Belly button's drawing in, hip flexors are strong, quads are strong. Point the toes. If you'd like, you got a little flutter. So we feel that need to stabilize here so we're not going all over the place with the body. Breathing. Just take my own advice. Take the occasional breath. Feel that movement of prana through the body, not just air but energy. One more inhale. On the exhale, release. Hugging the left knee in towards your chest, interlace the fingers over the shin. Pull that left thigh close. Flex your feet. Take a few breaths. In through the nose, out through the nose. Noticing the space that you're starting to create. Nice. Flexing the feet, float that right foot an inch or two up off the floor. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, peel head and shoulder blades up off the floor. Get your nose towards the knee, close as you can manage. And if it's a little bit far away, that's okay. Just try to maintain that distance. Releasing the hands, reaching fingertips forward. Take the left foot forward, tap. Bring the knee back to the nose. Left foot forward, tap. Knee back to the nose. And last time, left foot forward, tap. Knee back to the nose. Release to the mat. Right hand finds the left leg. Guide the leg across the body. Left arm reaches towards your neighbor. Palm face up. I guess at the moment when I say towards your neighbor, it depends on if you're practicing at home with someone. And if you're wondering what that scratching is, this would be Abby in her house bag watching me practice. Just a little bit off screen. She might come over to say hello at some point. Again, if that shoulder blade is coming up because you're working on getting the knee down to the floor, consider taking the shoulder down to the mat and letting the knee hover. It's going to feel a little bit nicer, a bit more leverage into lengthening the front of the shoulder, side body, and outer hip. Take one more breath and use the exhale to come back through center. Hugging both knees into your chest, give yourself a squeeze. Rock to the left and the right, massaging the muscles running up and down your spine. Now you can take the hands behind the knees, use that for the first couple rocks to help build up a bit of momentum, pulling the torso up. And if you found it really hard to come up without using the hands next to the hips, feet a little wider apart, rock forward, tuck the feet in, push with the hands, and pop up to a wide leg chair. If you came up to a regular chair, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Halfway lift, inhale. On the exhale, place the palms, step jump, or float the feet back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Heart pulls forward, shoulder blades drop back. Exhaling back over the toes. Downward facing dog. In this downward facing dog, try to get a little bit more still and static. Pressing the heels down, maybe even lifting the toes up. Breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Lifting the sit bones up, away from the heels. The biceps right beside the ears. Breath comfortable and relatively easy. One more inhale. On the exhale, lower the knees down as wide as the mat. Big toes touch the back of the mat. Child's pose. And as you access your child's pose, long arms, long torso, breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Staying in your child's pose and breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Just notice the distance here of torso to thighs, how close that might be getting. If you're creating a little bit more connection here. We'll take one more inhale in child's pose. On the exhale, carefully walk your hands just slightly off the right side of the mat, creating a side bend in your child's pose. And then using the inhales, Breathe into left shoulder and left ribs, expanding side body. You got one more big breath. On the exhale, carefully walk the hands back through center and just slightly off the left side of the mat, creating a nice side bend. Breathing space into right side body, right ribs, right shoulder. Shoulders stay relatively level. And we're not worried about walking like super far. It's more just a nice long lean to the side here, creating space in lateral line. Take one more big breath. And then use the exhale, come back through center, child pose. Walking the hands back towards the knees. Take the knees together. Sit to the heels, toes untucked. And with the toes untucked, reach the arms back behind you, interlace the fingers behind the back, squeeze shoulder blades together. Bring that big fist towards your left hip, hugging the left elbow in. Lowering the left ear towards the left shoulder, lengthening the right side of the neck. Chin can turn down, chin can turn up. Create length into the right side of your neck. One or two more breaths. Before carefully releasing, interlace the fingers the other way, other thumb on top. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and take the big fist to your right hip. Right elbow hugging in, right ear towards the right shoulder, lengthening the left side of your cervical spine. You might turn the chin up or down, dialing in the sensation as needed. Will all look a little bit different. You got one more big breath. Use the exhale to release, come back through center, roll the shoulders. Nice. Now for a few of us, actually this might be kind of intense. You can always grab blocks to sit on blocks. For those of us that are trying to create a bit more space, grabbing blocks, having them one on each side of the thighs, you can push into the blocks or fingertips to blocks, pick the knees up off the floor. If you don't think you need the blocks or the hands reach forward and we stretch the shins, we stretch the tops of the feet. Shouldn't feel like a crunch at the back of the ankle. And in fact, if it does feel like a crunch at the back of the ankle, you're doing a little bit too much. Back off a little bit. Take one more big inhale. And on the exhale, slowly lowering the knees down. Shift forward, plant the palms, straighten one leg at a time, wiggling out the toes. And with the knees on the floor underneath the hips, 3 cycles, cat and cow. Exhaling to tuck and round. Inhaling to lift and arch. Exhale, tuck and round. Inhale, lift and arch. And one more time, exhale, tuck and round. Inhale, lift and arch. Come back to neutral. Walk the hands towards your knees. Bring the knees together. Bring the feet together. The toes are tucked. Sit towards the heels. Now to adjust what you're feeling here, all 10 toes are touching the floor on both sides. You can either walk the knees further forward. This takes them into even greater extension, can be a bit more intense. You can also walk the knees backwards towards the toes. And this starts to take them a little bit out of extension, but greater sensation into Achilles tendon and the bottom of your calf. If you need a bit of help here, this feels way too intense. Blocks are next to the hips, push down as if they're training wheels, a little bit less weight into the feet. Now for a few of us that want a bit more intensity, squeezing the inner thighs together, hands can be on blocks or off the blocks, really up to you. Start to lean back, take the knees up off the floor, toe stand, squeezing the inner thighs together. You can even lift up a couple inches, feeling some space coming between your bum and the heels. Breathing here, palms can be in prayer. Find your balance however you are able. You got 1 or 2 more breaths. Before carefully, if the knees are lifted, putting the knees down, shifting forward, plant the palms, straighten one leg at a time, wiggling out the toes. This time with the feet a little bit wider apart, toes are tucked, hands walk back towards the knees, bring the soles of the feet flat on the floor, toes turning out in line with your knees. Malasana, Garland pose at the back of the mat. In that Garland pose, take the elbows inside the knees, palms in prayer, heart starts to reach towards the thumbs. If the heels are lifted quite painfully, doesn't feel good, you can always sit on a block. Alternatively, you're actually coming up a little bit, so the knees and the hips are almost the same heights, kind of like an Ardha Malasana, half Garland pose. You can also use your mat, roll that up. When you've got a bit of a rolled mat, like adding cushion underneath the back of the heels, we try again. For a few of us, that'll make it feel a bit nicer. Now, if Malasana feels pretty good, you're enjoying the inner thigh stretch, the back of the hips are getting some sensation, please stay. Alternatively, the palms turn forward. So this variation of crow pose, we're looking to find a connection between the inner thighs working and the outer shoulders working here. Pushing and squeezing, palms turn forward. If you're feeling like you have the ability to balance today, palms come down to the mat, squeeze in as you press out, the elbows stay pretty much over the wrist. Look forward, pull one heel or both heels up towards your bum, take 2 or 3 cycles of breath in your Bakasana. Squeezing the hamstrings quite strongly, pulling the heels up to your bum. When you get to your last exhale, the feet come down, back into Malasana. Breath flowing in through the nose, out through the nose. Whatever you're in, you got one more inhale. And on the exhale, release into a forward fold, shake it out. Inhale, roll up to stand, head comes up last, Tadasana, mountain pose. In your mountain pose, shift the weight towards the left foot, pick up the right foot just an inch or 2. Notice your balance here, looking forward at a drishti point, something in front of you that isn't moving. If you want to challenge your balance, try closing the eyes. And with the eyes closed, you might notice an initial wave of disorientation, totally fine. Feel that wave of disorientation, breathe through it. If the eyes are still closed, blink them open, replace the right foot to the floor, hands on the hips, big circle with the hips. Go the other direction. And then we'll try the other leg. Shift the weight to the right foot, pick up the left foot an inch or 2. With the left foot lifted an inch or 2, setting the drishti point, something in front of you that isn't moving. If you want to challenge your balance, why not? Give it a shot, close your eyes, removing the visual system. You're going to have that initial little wave of disorientation. Breathe through it, stay with your balance. Worst case, you put the foot down and you try again. If the eyes are still closed, blink them open. Put the left foot down. Hands on the hips, big circles with the hip, one direction. Big circle the other direction. And when you come back through center, stand tall. Reach the arms up, inhale. Catch the left wrist with the right hand, pull that arm up, and then squeezing right side body, lengthen the left. Come back up, inhale, flip the grip, catching the right wrist, squeeze. Left side body squeezes, right side body lengthens. Hello, Abby. Yes, welcome. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, hinge and fold over the legs. Doggy break. Yes, hello, hello. Crawl your hands to the top of the mat. Downward facing dog. And in that downward facing dog, we get Abby to take a look at us and make sure that we're doing it properly. Okay, thank you. I think I'm getting some approval. Inhale, lift the right leg up, nice and high. Exhale, bend the knee, stack the hip. Make that right knee the highest points. Nice, as if you could touch the ceiling with that right knee. Lift it up. Squeeze the heel towards your bum. Right knee, right elbow. Exhale, touch. Inhale, send it back up and open. Right knee, right elbow, touch. Inhale, send it back up and open. And last time, right knee, right elbow, touch. Inhale, send it back up and open. Right knee to the nose, touch. Carefully step the foot in between the hands. Rise up, inhale, high runner's lunge. Exhale, left hand forward, right hand back, twist towards the right thigh. Inhale, sweep back through center, arms reach up. Exhale, left hand forward, right hand back, twist towards the right thigh. Inhale, sweep back through center. And last time, exhale, left hand forward, right hand back, twist. Inhale, sweep back through center. Catch the left wrist with the right hand, pull the arm up. Squeeze right side body and lengthen the left, adding a bit of a side bend into that runner's lunge. Back up through center, and then exhale, sweep the arms back, lean forward over the right leg. More and more weight into the right leg, shift the weight into the right foot. Left foot presses up towards the ceiling. Virabhadrasana C, Warrior 3. Left foot pushes up as the right foot pushes down. Watch out for your doggies. Abby, look out. And then carefully move the left foot back to high runner's lunge. Right hand to the right hip, reach up tall through the left arm, and then turning your heart towards the right side of the mat, plug the left elbow outside the right thigh. Palms into prayer, heart reaches for the thumbs. Leaning the right shoulder blade back, reach through the crown of the head. Take one more inhale in your twist. Exhale to release hands down to the floor. Hi, Abby. Step back. Vinyasa. That's chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back over the toes. Downward facing dog. Pedaling out the heels, giving the head a little shake. Same leg. Inhale, reach the right leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, stack the hip. Make that right knee the highest point. Bigger movement. Right knee, left elbow. Twist and touch. Inhale, send the leg back up and open. Right knee, left elbow. Twist and touch. Inhale, send it back up and open. Last time, right knee, left elbow. Twist and touch. Inhale, send it up and open. Exhale, knee to the nose, touch. Carefully step the foot in between the hands. Lower the left knee down to the floor. Come up, hands to the hips, and instead of pushing the hips forward, pull the hips back slightly and press firmly into the top of that left foot. Tucking the tailbone, pull the pubic bone up towards the chest, rounding the low back slightly here to feel the left hip flexor get a release. Psoas system on that left side. The right hamstring engages, trying to pull the right foot back. Add the arms reaching up. Maybe cactus with the arms. If you want a little bit more sensation into the hip flexor, you can add interlacing the fingers, pushing into the right thigh, and rounding the spine even more. You can also push the palms forward, rounding the spine even more. Take one more inhale, and on the exhale, carefully release the left hand down to the left side of the mat. Wiggle the right foot to the right edge. Take the left foot a bit further back, creating lots of length in the left leg. Shoulders stay strong, drawing away from the ear. Flex the right ankle. Turn the right toes out in line with the knee. Allow the pinky edge of the foot to find the floor. Right hand can push into the right inner thigh if it feels good. You can also reach back and engaging the left hamstring, pull the heel towards your bum, catch the pinky edge of that left foot. If you have a hold of the foot, two directions we can go. Either pulling the heel towards the bum or kicking the foot into the hand, creating some space across the heart and the chest. You got one more big breath, whatever you're doing, use the exhale to come back through center. Use blocks if you need, blocks under the forearms, or we take forearms all the way down to the floor. Elbows pretty much in line with the heel, palms in prayer. So in lizard lunge, pull that right knee in towards the shoulder. You can even pick up the back knee to load the legs a bit more. Some of us that have more to give, you can choose. Hands can walk forward if you have the space. You can also take the right shoulder behind the right calf, fingertips to the floor, or even reaching out towards your neighbors. Again, if you have the space here, some of our apartments pretty small. So if you're practicing with a friend at home right now, negotiate for space. Take one more big breath. Use the exhale to release the hands back down to the floor. Options to transition, either going right for a vinyasa, chaturanga to up dog, or pulling that right leg into the right arm, pull the heel to your bum. Lean forward, elbow to the right inner thigh, float the back leg up, kundanyasana. If you have space, extend the right leg. If you don't, keep the knee bent. Step jump or float the foot back, vinyasa. Meeting in a downward facing dog. Sit bones lifting up. Head gives a little shake, not a yes. Shake a no. Before we do the second side, lower the knees down. Knees are together, toes untucked. Slide the palms back so they're face up next to the feet. Modified child's pose. We've got a few breaths here to settle, to notice those little shifts starting to happen in your body. From front to back, from left to right, what might have started to shift for you? And the tension that we release, unique to us. For some it'll be physical, for others emotional or mental. The stability that we foster, same idea. For some it's physical, for others the stability they're looking for is a little more mental, a little more emotional. Watch those shifts. No judgment. You got one more inhale in that modified child's pose. Open your mouth, sigh out the breath. And then slide in the hands forward, press into the palms. Lift the hips high enough you can tuck the toes. Hips lift up and back. downward facing dog. In your downward facing dog, pedal at the heels if you need to. Get ready, get set. Set the foundation strong. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, step the hip, make the left knee the highest point, pushing the floor away, abducting, lifting that leg a little higher. Big move, go slow. Exhale, left knee, left elbow, touch. Inhale, send the leg up and open. Left knee, left elbow, touch. Inhale, send the leg back up and open. And last time, left knee, left elbow, touch. Inhale, send the leg back up and open. On the exhale, knee to the nose. Step the foot carefully in between the hands. Nice. Inhale, rise all the way up, high runner's lunge. Exhale, shoot the right hand forward, left hand back, twist towards the left thigh. Inhale, back through center, arms reach up. Exhale, right hand forward, left hand back, twist towards the left thigh. Inhale, back through center. And last time, exhale, right hand forward, left hand back, twist towards the left thigh. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, sweep the arms back, lean forward over the left leg. More and more weight into that left foot. Press the sole of the right foot up towards the ceiling. Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana C, arms anywhere they have space to go. Forward, back, palms in prayer. Press the sole of the right foot up. As the left foot pushes down, chest actually lifts away from the floor slightly. Take one more inhale, Warrior 3. On the exhale, watching out for puppies. Right foot comes down, high runner's lunge. Take the left hand to the left hip. Turn the heart to the floor outside the left foot. Right elbow plugs into the outside of that left thigh, and palms can come into prayer. Heart reaches for the thumbs. Reach through the crown of the head and through that back heel. Try not to hold the breath. Instead, keeping it flowing so we have the energy to keep going. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, carefully release the hands down to the floor. Step back, Vinyasa. Chaturanga up dog if you've got it. Right to downward facing dog if you need to. When you find your downward facing dog, give the head a little shake. Not a yes, shake a no. We got that second side. Inhale, left leg, same leg goes back up. Second variation, knees lifting up high. Left knee, right elbow, twist and touch. Inhale, send it back up. Left knee, right elbow, twist and touch. Inhale, send it up. And last time, left knee, right elbow, twist and touch. Inhale, send it back up. Exhale, knee to the nose. Carefully step the foot in between the hands. Lower the right knee down to the floor, untucking the toes. Inhale, hands to the hips. And instead of pushing the hips forward, pull the hips back slightly here. Kicking down firmly into the top of the right foot. Tuck your tailbone. So with that slight tuck to the tailbone, the pubic bone starts to turn up towards the chest, filling the front of the right hip, the iliopsoas system on the right side. Now a couple options. You can have the arms reaching up. It can be cactus arms. If you want to exaggerate the feeling of stretching the hip, interlacing the fingers, pushing into that left thigh, rounding the spine even more to feel right iliopsoas system. You can also interlace the fingers and push the palms forward, rounding the spine even more. Take one more inhale, whatever you're doing. And on the exhale, carefully release the right hand down to the floor. Right hand to the right edge of the mat, left foot to the left edge. Wiggle the right foot a bit further back so you have extra space. Lots of extension in the right hip. Flexing the left ankle, turn the toes out in line with the knee. Come to the pinky edge of that left foot. The left hand can even push ever so slightly, opening up that inner thigh a little. If you'd like, you can reach the left arm back, engage the right hamstring, and pull the heel towards your bum. Catch the pinky edge of the right foot, sorry. Now either you're pulling the heel towards your bum, kicking the foot into the hand to change what you're feeling in this shape. Last breath or two. Use the exhale to carefully come back through center. Use blocks if you need, blocks under the forearms, or the forearms come all the way down to the floor. Lizard lunge, palms in prayer. Back knee can lift up if you wish. To go deeper, either going forward, coming lower, or taking the left shoulder behind the left calf, fingertips off to the sides of the room. Maybe the hands reach out to the sides of the room here, and we make it an active variation of our lizard lunge. Whichever version you're doing, it works. They're all just a little different. Last breath or two, whichever version of lizard lunge you're working on. Take one more inhale. On the exhale, come back up under your palms if you're not there already. Options to transition, take a vinyasa if you wish, or squeezing that left knee into the left shoulder, pull the heel to your bum. Lean forward a bit more, the elbow finds the inner thigh, Back foot lifts up, Vinyasa. If you have space to extend, extend that left leg out to the side. Step jump or float the feet back, Vinyasa. Meet in a downward facing dog. Pedaling out the heels, giving the head a little shake. Woo. Take the knees down to the center of the mat. Knees are together, toes untucked. Again, revisiting that modified child's pose. Palms face up next to the feet. Forehead to the floor. Breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. You've done so well thus far in the practice. Stay with that effort. We just notice left side, right side without any judgment. What might be shifting on one side and feeling maybe a little bit stuck on the other side. If that's the case, there's no judgment. We're just aware of it now. Sometimes it's injury, sometimes it's anatomy. It's really just an awareness practice. Take one more inhale in that modified child's pose. And then open your mouth, sigh out the breath. Slide the hands forward, shift forward into tabletop. A couple cycles of cat and cow to check in with shoulders and spine and hips. Rounding the spine on the exhale. Arching the spine on the inhale. Rounding. Arching. Come back to neutral. Lay the forearms down to the floor and interlace the fingers. I find it helpful to tuck the bottom pinky finger inside the fist so that it doesn't get crushed when you squeeze the heel of the fist together and push the fist into the floor. Elbows are a nice distance apart where you can actually grab one elbow. The other elbow is an equilateral triangle. Now tucking the chin, take the top of the head down to the floor. Shoulders draw back, they're engaged. First, just pushing the floor away, lift the head up, put the head back down. Lift the head up, put the head back down. Should feel like you're able to push the forearms down into the mat. Toes can tuck, pick up the knees, walk the feet towards your face. Ardha Shirshasana, the shoulders are still drawing back, pushing the floor away, the head is still quite light. You can stay in half Shirshasana, or one heel comes into your bum, keep leaning the hips so they stack over the shoulders, and float the other foot up. Either both legs go up, or maybe just one, doesn't really matter. We're all practicing in areas that we don't normally practice, so it can be kind of distracting. Give yourself space if you need to. We're taking a few breaths in Shirshasana, or half headstand if the feet are still on the floor. If all of this seems very scary, you're doing a forearm plank, strengthening the core and strengthening the shoulders. Can you take another 2 or 3 cycles of breath, whatever you're working on? You have time, there's no rush. When it's time to come down, just as slowly, one knee comes in, foot comes down, put the foot down, knees down, modified child's pose, palms face up, next to the feet. Whew, forehead on the floor. And we just notice what might be shifting after our inversion practice. Head below the heart. Can make some people feel like they just had a shot of yogi espresso, and other people feel a little bit nervous. So if that felt a bit fearful to you, that's okay. Do the prep poses, and the full expression will become a bit more accessible one day. Take one more inhale in your modified child's pose. And then open your mouth, sigh it out. Slide the hands forward, come up through tabletop, and then stepping the feet a little further back, lie all the way down towards your belly. Right ear to the floor, slide the palms back so they're face up next to the thighs. Just noticing here if both shoulder heads are able to get pretty close to the floor, or if tension you hold in your neck is actually lifting one shoulder up off the floor and it's hard to bring that shoulder down to the mat. If that's the case, this doesn't feel good, you can always modify, skip it. Reach your left arm straight out to the side. It's possible that you'll lose sight of my arm, but trust me, it's still there. Palm flat on the floor. And then take the right hand so it's underneath the right shoulder. Turn your gaze so it goes back towards the right hand. The left ear is on the mat now. And if you need the space, you can always wiggle over a little bit. Push into the right palm. Begin to roll carefully onto left side body. If you have a bit more to give, some of us will bend the right knee and bring the sole of the foot down to the floor. Others will reach back with the right hand and see if we can touch the top of the left hand with the right hand. If you can't, that's okay. Don't move the left hand in order to achieve that. If the head is lifted uncomfortably, feel free to grab a block or a prop, a book, anything, maybe your puppy, and put your head on that prop. Breathe across the heart and the shoulders. 1 or 2 more breaths. In through the nose, out through the nose. And when it's time to release, do so carefully, releasing the right hand to the floor, the right foot to the floor, roll back through center. Take the left ear to the mat, leave it there, slide the palms so they're face up next to the thighs. And we check in with the other side, just noticing left to right, if it feels the same or a little bit different. For most of us, we'll have some difference left to right side, not judging that experience, but becoming a bit more aware. You've got another breath or 2 just to settle. And then when you feel ready, reaching the right arm way out to the side. If you need to shift because you need the space, shift, create space. Take the left palm under the left shoulder, and then pushing into that left palm, turn the gaze, take the right ear towards the floor. Roll towards right side body and decide if this is already kind of intense, please stay here, it's enough. You can also bend the left knee, bring the sole of the foot to the floor. For even more, the left hand comes up off the floor, reaches back, and without moving the right hand, we see, oh yeah, if we can touch or grab the back of the right hand. Head is lifted uncomfortably, use one of your blocks, take it under the head so it's a little more comfortable. Shouldn't feel this in your elbow. If you're getting sensation into your right elbow, it's becoming an elbow opener, and there's no such thing. So be careful. Last breath or 2. In through the nose, out through the nose. When it's time to release, do so carefully, taking the left hand back to the floor. The left leg comes back to the floor. Pubic bone, chest. Nice. You can slide the arms back. Keep the right ear on the floor, or the left ear, whichever side you think needs a bit more attention. Noticing the effort of your practice. We're almost there, but not quite. Reach the arms back behind you, palms face up. Chin or nose can rest on the floor. Inhale, lift chest, chin, arms, and legs. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. And last time, inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Nice. You can bend the knees, pull the heels in towards your bum. Reach back with the hands, catching the outer edge of the feet. Right? If you need to, you can always use a strap to go around the ankles and hook the strap and hold the strap here. You can also grab the ankles with the feet flexed if that feels a bit better. Squeezing the inner thighs together, kick the feet into the hands. Just start by lifting the chest up and the chin up, like you're doing a baby cobra, heart pulling forward. If you have a bit more to give, kicking the feet into the hands, we lift up a little bit higher, sending the toes towards the ceiling. Strong legs, strong back. Take one more inhale. Exhale to carefully release. Once you've fully released, release the legs. Palms can be face up next to the hips. Take whichever ear feels most comfortable to the floor. Relax for a second, tucking and untucking the tailbone. No compression in the back. We're lengthening the front and strengthening the back with that move there. When it's time to transition, slide the palms under the shoulders. Come up to tabletop. In your tabletop position, crossing the ankles, sit towards your bum, extend the legs forward, give them a little shake. Just noticing how much space we've created today. These last few shapes, more of a cool down than trying to go too far into some of the stretches. So just be careful with it. Now, for a few of us in a seated forward fold, if you happen to be quite tight, a couple options. You can use blocks under your thighs. If you don't own blocks, you can use books, really anything that's available, a rolled up towel. Sitting nice and tall, pulling the flesh out from underneath the sit bones. Today I'll invite you not to grab the feet, just using them more as a guide and less of a handle. Walking the fingers forward, getting the torso nice and close towards the thighs. The head can stay slightly lifted, neck is nice and long. If you are holding the feet, it's a guide, not a handle. And over time, we relax the head, less and less efforts in a seated forward fold. Now if you don't need the blocks under the legs, and the legs start to straighten a bit more, but you feel like you might need the blocks under your forehead to create some support, you can use the blocks, creating a little table, resting the forehead into the blocks, breathing space into posterior chain in a seated forward fold. 2 or 3 more cycles of breath, your variation. And carefully sitting up, move the blocks off to the side. Bending that left knee, bring the sole of the foot towards the right inner thigh. The left thigh pushes down into the floor. And if it hovers up, a blanket, a block, something under the thigh for support is a great option. As you start to come forward, same idea as a seated forward fold with both legs, using the foot as a guide but not a handle, walking the hands forward, jhana or shirshasana, knee to head pose. Doesn't mean you have to take the head to the knee. You can think about it more as chin to shin or nose to toes, getting taller and taller. And if you are grabbing the foot is a guide and not a handle, pushing that left foot into the right inner thigh. Elbows hugging in, neck is elongated. Get into the belly of that hamstring, not the back of the knee or the base of the butt. 2 or 3 more cycles of breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. When it's time to release, release carefully, coming back up, back up, back up. Take that leg up, extend the right leg forward, hands can post up behind you and give it a little shake. Sliding the sole of the right foot in towards the left inner thigh, pressing the thigh down towards the floor. Use a block under the thigh if you need to. Any prop, any non-prop. Blanket, pillow, book. Sitting up nice and tall. As we start to come forward, the hands might just walk, thinking knee to head pose. Doesn't have to be exactly knee to head. Jhana Shirshasana, it could be more chin to shin or nose towards your toes. Getting the torso more and more to connect to the thigh. If you're holding the foot, it's a guide, not a handle, so don't be tempted to crank with all your might. Just a bit of holding the foot in place. Elbows hugging in, neck is nice and long. Finding the belly of the hamstring. Right in the middle of the muscle, not the back of the knee or the base of the butt. Last 2 or 3 cycles of breath, your Jhana Shirshasana. And when it's time to release, do so carefully. Coming all the way back up. Just extending that right leg forward, give it a shake. Keep the blocks nearby. If you don't have blocks, a book, series of books, something that's close by that you can use for a prop. Lie down on your back. Once you're lying flat on your back, bend your knees, bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Start by windshield wipering the knees to the right and to the left, massaging the outer hip, the low back, the back of the pelvis, your SI joint around the sacrum. And then coming back to center, flexing the right ankle. Take the right ankle to the left thigh, push that thigh forward. Reaching the right arm through the legs, left arm around the leg, either binding the left hamstring or binding the shin just below the knee. Keep the low back from rounding up off the floor and crunching everything up. The low back and sacrum stays connected to the floor. Flex both feet if it helps you. And push that ankle into the thigh into the ankle. So it actually feels like everything's pushing away from you a bit. Shoulders stay connected. Everything's nice and strong. Threaded needle. Breathe space into the right hip. If you're getting sensation in the right knee, it's becoming a knee opener. There's no such things. Please be careful. Modify if you need to. Take one more big breath. And on the exhale, carefully releasing the shin. Keep the right ankle where it is. Heel toe the left foot to the left edge of the mat. Lower both knees to the right. This will serve to slightly internally rotate the left hip while still externally rotating the right. Breathing space into that left hip. Especially if you have a sensation here like you don't normally do this movement, you might need it. Take one more inhale. On the exhale, come back through center. Releasing the right foot to the floor, windshield wiper the knees to the right and to the left. And before we do the second side, Walking the heels a little closer to your bum. Give the fingers a little tickle of the heels. Hips lift up away from the floor. Push, push, push. Use 1 or 2 blocks. Maybe start with 1 block if you don't normally do this. And place the sacrum on the block. That's below the low back, but above the tailbone. So right at the back of your pelvis. As you release onto the block, see how it feels to step the feet forward and lie flat over the block. Feeling the front of the hips get a bit of length. Especially after all the sitting you might have been doing at home the last few days. Right? Lengthening out some of that tightness, that atrophy that's happening here in our hip flexors. If you have more to give, some people will turn the block up to the medium setting. I quite like actually using 2 blocks and stacking them both at the lowest setting. These blocks are a little smaller than some, so if you feel like you're stable, whatever props you're using, make sure they're nice and stable. So you feel like pressure up into the sacrum, but not pain in the low back. And then stepping the feet forward, you're relying on top of your blocks to release the front of the hips, relaxing the legs, relaxing the face. Give yourself another 2 or 3 cycles of breath, your variation of supported back bending. And when you get to your last exhale, slowly bending the knees, lifting the hips up off the blocks, move them off to the side, lay the spine down carefully, 1 vertebra at a time. Windshield wiper the knees to the right and to the left. And we'll do the second side here. Coming back through center, flexing the left ankle, take the left ankle to the right thigh, drive that thigh forward. And you can reach the left hand through the legs, right arm around the legs, bind either the hamstring or the shin just below the knee. Try not to have the spine rounded, everything all crunched up. Pull the low back and sacrum down towards the floor. Drive the ankle into the thigh and the shin into your hands. Shoulders stay connected and strong. Threaded needle. It's both a stretch and a strengthening shape. If we do it right, on that spectrum, we're all somewhere slightly different. Give yourself another 2 or 3 cycles of breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. When it's time to release, release carefully. Don't pop out of the shape. Right foot finds the floor. Keep the left ankle where it is, and right foot goes to the right edge of the mat. Lowering both knees slowly to the left. Feeling the internal rotation into the right hip. Still some external rotation into that left hip. Noticing the space you created today through some of the effort of our practice. Last breath or 2. And when it's time to release the shape slowly back through center. Stepping the left foot to the floor. Step the feet to the top of the mat. And lie flat. Palms face up a little ways away from the thighs. Feet a comfortable distance apart. You are welcome to take as long as you need in your Savasana shape. If that means for some of us that we pause the video, set a timer, go for it. You've earned a little rest here. Feeling that softening of the body into the floor. No more effort needed. Separating the tongue from behind the teeth. Savasana. Corpse pose. Again, if you need to stay longer, you're welcome to it. Otherwise, coming back to your breath, moving your fingers, moving your toes, carefully turning your head side to side. Inhale, reach the fingertips to the wall behind you, toes to the wall in front of you, stretch. And exhale to soften. Inhale to stretch. And exhale to soften. Bending the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the floor, left palm to the belly. Roll to right side body. Pushing into the left palm, come all the way up into a seated position. Sitting cross-legged or kneeling, something where the foundation is able to settle and the spine can stack nice and tall. Check back in with your breath, breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. Feeling the expansion of your torso and the contraction. Place the left hand over the heart, right hand over the belly. Inhale, fill all the way up. Take up some space in the torso, filling belly, ribs, and collarbone. Open your mouth, sigh out that breath. Take your palms into prayer at heart center, thumbs rest into the sternum. We'll end our time together to the sound of a single Om. Inhale. You can bow your heads. Thanks for practicing with all of us today. Take some of this energy off your mat. Share with all the people you love. Stay safe out there. Help each other. We're going to get through this together. Namaste. Hope to see you guys again. If you have any other suggestions for us, stuff that you'd like to see us practice or work on, we're always open to suggestion. If I can invite you to, if you'd like, play your own music along with the practice. I'll try to keep it as clear and succinct as I can in the tiny space that we have. And until next time, hi from Queenie and I. Ooh, we brought the sun out with all of our sun salutations. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.